Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
You can't defeat her. She's too powerful.
Clash with Kenzie.
Let the battle begin.
Q101.
And Clash with Kenzie is sponsored by the Schaumburg Boomers.
Feel the boom.
For tickets, visit boomersbaseball.com. Dane Cook tickets on the line for Chicago Theater. These Dane Cook tickets can be yours, furnished by our great friends at Live Nation. Going to Danielle in Crown Point, if she can beat Kenzie. Danielle, ahoy, tell us something really quick about yourself.
My favorite animal is a shark.
Wow.
Ooh.
Why's that?
I saw Jaws when I was 4, and I just loved him ever since. I have 3 tattoos already.
That's kind of a hot take. People weren't like, I'm here for the shark. I like it.
Yeah. I mean, even a kid gets eaten by the shark in Jaws, and you're rooting for the shark, huh?
Maybe.
Don't put her on the radio saying that. Leave her alone.
I'm curious, are your tattoos, like, you got a hammerhead, a great white? Are they all the same kind of shark? Are they baby shark?
I got a great white, and then a fin and a tooth.
Have you ever been a shark for Halloween?
Yes.
I want to see that. Can you text it a picture? When you get up, I want to see your shark.
Yeah, I'll try to find it.
Oh, good.
All right, so here we go. First 1 to 5 wins. Listen carefully. If Kenzie gets one wrong, you can steal a point. She can do the same with you. Call heads or tails, shark lady.
Heads.
It is heads.
Like a hammerhead shark.
Son of a nutcracker.
Gotta be a little faster.
Wow. That close.
All right, Daniel, let's start with this. What is the end opposite the nose called on a snowboard?
Tail.
Tail's right. Like a shark tail.
Like a shark, you see.
Kenzie, what motel chain signage has a bright yellow background with black and red text?
Okay. Now that is Super 8.
That is
That
Super
is
8.
Super
That
8.
one's Super 8.
Last week, Kenzie had trouble with Motel 6 and 8 and all these numbered motels.
We can't.
We will move on from motel questions now. I think you
would
mastered
love
them.
That. It's just a lot. You know, they all sound alike.
All right, so 1 to 1.
And back to Danielle.
Danielle, what fast food establishment has recently been promoting a spicy Sprite?
Oh, gosh. I want to say...
3.
Oh, gosh.
2.
Burger King.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, just before the buzzer. It is Burger King, a spicy Sprite. Have you had it, Case?
I had it yesterday. That's why this question's in trivia today.
Oh, jeez. You could just watch Case's stories on Instagram to get the trivia question answers. Unbelievable.
The problem is that the advertising is so correct. It's a Sprite that is spicy and burns your throat, and it was a really disappointing experience.
It burned you?
It kind of, yes.
So it's spicy like cayenne pepper?
Yes, it tastes like peppery.
Yeah, but
That's
you
interesting.
sweat with, like, the mild buffalo wings.
But this isn't a heat issue. This is a spice issue. It sticks in your throat. It was so disappointing.
Huh. I don't know if anybody else out there likes it. Yeah, I want a second opinion.
Well, now I'm curious. I can't find a Burger King that's open. I can't believe you could.
Oh, you got to go to the city. There's Burger Kings out the ass.
Okay.
Yeah, but ours is closed in our neighborhood.
I know, but I went to the one kind of in the Logan Square area.
It looks like they're just remodeling all of them because I drove past my closed Burger King and now it's just getting a facelift among others.
Well, once
So
it gets
they're
that
coming
facelift,
back.
yeah, exactly.
They're coming back, bitch.
With a yes.
They're Botoxing the logo.
That's
Yes.
right. 2-1 back to Kenzie.
Kenzie, what cookie brand recently released a collab with Coke?
Oreos.
Oreo did.
Did
That's
you try
right.
those, Case?
Have not had those, but looked at them in the Walgreens, couldn't pull the trigger on
Oh,
them.
wait. So our boy, Truck Mike, not Trucker Mike, but Truck Mike, Coca-Cola Mike, actually. He
Thank
drives
you.
Coke trucks. And he told me they were not everywhere yet, but you've already seen one that.
They're in the Chicagoland area. Yes, I just have not been able to pull the trigger on it. You know, times are tough. I can't be buying Oreos
And
just whenever I
spicy
want them. Yeah,
Sprites.
come on now.
Okay, you saw Weezer and Pulp this weekend, but you can't buy a Coke?
No, because I saw Weezer and Pulp this weekend.
Something's got to give.
Yeah, 2-2 back to Danielle.
Danielle, the process of pulling down your pants and showing someone your butt is known as what?
Mooning.
Visual assault.
Oh, boy.
3-2 back to Kenzie.
Kenzie, what supervillain had a cat named Mr. Bigglesworth?
What?
What supervillain had a cat named Mr. Bigglesworth?
A super villain with like Mr. Bigglesworth. Oh, was it from Austin Powers?
You got to give me the name.
Oh God, what is his name?
3,
I know Mini-Me.
2,
It's fudge.
1. Danielle, do you know?
Dr. Evil.
Dr. Evil.
I was going to say Captain Evil. I knew it wasn't it.
Damn it. So now it's back to
I know
Danielle.
the whole crew. Unbelievable.
4-2 is back to Danielle. She can win Dane Cook tickets with a correct answer.
Wow. Danielle, in texting, what does LMAO stand for?
Laughing my ass off.
That's right. That's right.
A lot of ass questions today.
A few of them there. You know, the mooning.
Hey,
the
have a
ass.
good weekend.
Apparently.
Congratulations, Danielle. You're going to see Dane Cook.
Awesome. Oh, my God. I'm so excited. Thank you.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. We have to acknowledge, pour one out. Very sad. Affects probably most people listening. And it is not music related. Waffle House CEO Walt Emmer has passed away at the age of 58.
When will it end?
Oh,
58?
58, young guy.
Good Lord.
I know, it's
Was
rough.
he eating a lot of Waffle House?
I can only assume.
Oh my goodness, that's really young.
Yeah, it just says a long illness. Doesn't say exactly what happened.
Aw.
He also seems young for some place that's been around a long time. I don't know how. Let's see, he's been there since 1992, quickly rose to senior leadership, becoming the president of the company 20 years ago, and then CEO, and then chairman. He was pretty much everything for Waffle House. This guy must have loved Waffle House.
God, what a nice story that is.
Yeah. It shows that you can start at the bottom and get to the top. You know what I mean?
Yeah, baby.
Just by eating the potatoes, the hash browns covered, smothered,
Oh my
chunked.
God, I used to get a patty melt and smothered hash browns. Wait, I understand.
You sound like you were talking about the greatest thing ever.
Oh God, it was the greatest thing ever.
Now, the thing is, there's none in our radio listening range, as far as I know, unless someone can help me out, because we reach about 100 miles with the 101.1 radio signal.
Where do we go from, Brian? Tell us the radius.
We go from Rensselaer, Indiana, all the way to Kenosha, way past DeKalb. Sometimes you can get us in Denver.
Is that right?
I'm not sure. I don't
if it's
know.
windy, if it's on the right day.
Now, of course, you can listen to us globally in any way you want when you travel on the new and improved Q101 app.
Okay.
That should be on your phone. It's free, too, and it's really, there's some really cool new features on it, by the way. Now, so Waffle House, you know, I think most people did road trips, and then you would go and see a Waffle House, the big yellow block Waffle House sign, and go in to check it out because you just hear.
Beacon. It was like the star that guided the three wise men in the middle of the road. When I'm drunk, I'm like, thank God.
Oh, wow.
Oh, goodness.
That is so accurate. I've never eaten at one before 2 in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
Before 2. I got exiled from Chicago radio back in the day in 2006, and it took me a while to get back, but I got back here, baby. And I lived in Virginia, Richmond, Virginia for a while, and they had Waffle Houses. And yeah, I never went before 2 in the morning. And you go in there 2, 3, it'd be packed. There'd be a line out the door to go eat there. It's the only place down there that was open late. Chicago has a lot of places open late, but
But
this place,
something about it.
it's just something about the greasiest.
And the chefs cook right in front of you.
It's like a hibachi place.
It's top tier. I like seeing what's going on.
You want to go to Benihana or Waffle House? We're going to get the same experience.
I'm saying.
So the chef takes the spatula and throws smashed up potatoes at you in your face and you catch them.
If you think I wouldn't jump for that,
No.
you're out of your mind.
Yeah, there's always a fight, too. You know, whenever you hear about what we've done in Kenzie's, not Kenzie's Crimes, there hasn't been a Waffle House yet. When we do head-to-head lines and we talk about a crazy story, we've had, I think, at least one that started at a Waffle House and finished there.
Of course.
Well, it's
Yeah.
kind of the Florida of restaurants where you would believe any story that came out of a Waffle House.
Yeah.
You know, the first time I was there was in Kentucky. I was playing baseball in Kentucky one weekend, and a guy started playing his banjo in the middle of the Waffle House. And if you're not in the mood to hear banjo music, which I wasn't at the time, it's really, really jarring.
To be honest, you're the problem. You got a free show. There's live music at Waffle House, and you're being an a-hole about it.
You're like, I just want to sit here and eat my patty melt.
Yeah.
Can people just leave me alone?
Good Lord. If you want to be left alone, how dare you go into a Waffle House?
You're right, that's fair.
It's the world's brightest lighting in the middle of the night. It's
It really is.
It's an open open concept with the kitchen. It's always loud. It's always a party. You are an issue. You should have went through a drive-through.
Now, I'm trying to think of do you have a late night, a 24-hour place in our area, that you go to? Because for me, there's one on Irving Park called the Diner Grill. And it's classic, just a counter. It's open 24 hours a day. It's like $10 or $20 for whatever you want. It's been open for nearly 100 years on Irving Park, and it is awesome.
My spot in downtown when I used to be like, okay, I'm hungry and I'm drunk was TBK.
You're running and gunning days.
Hell yeah. TBK was my joint.
Is that the name? Is that stand for something?
Well, everyone calls it TBK. It's Taco Burrito King. They have one in the West Loop.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I could bathe in that stuff. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
Get a little horchata in the middle of the night and a steak burrito the size of my face. Hell yeah.
Good sized face, too. You know what I mean?
I got a big face. It's not a baby face, okay?
You just reminded me that on Lincoln, back in the day, there used to be these places called the Burrito Hut, and they'd be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There was like 17 of them. Like about every block, there was a Burrito Hut, and they're all gone now. I don't know what happened. Kind of like white hens.
Closed.
Like white hens are all gone.
Oh.
I know, it sucks. But what about you, Casey? You eat food late at all? Because you went to Weezer and you went to Pulp this week, and you had to want.
Hungry after?
Yeah, you had to want to get some food. Always on the phones, actually. People are calling in about this right now.
Oh, good. We're gonna get some recommendations. So we're gonna go next time. I love when people call in with things that are gonna benefit me. It's very exciting.
Yeah, like the best late night. And when I say Chicagoland, I mean it could be anywhere. It can be Naperville, it can be Schaumburg, it can be Indiana, Wisconsin. But the best late night stuff, because that Diner Grill on Irving Park is awesome. It is so good. Give us a check-in, 312-591-8300.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101. We started talking about the pouring one out for the Waffle House CEO. Maybe you've been the one in the South if you ever went on road trips. And we're talking about places around Chicago. I mentioned the diner that I go to in my hood, at the Diner Grill, and someone I know has checked in there. They have this thing called the Slinger. The Slinger at dinner is the best, she said. They give you a certificate that says, I got the Slingeria when you finish. They give you a certificate when you finish it.
What is the Slinger?
So the Slinger.
What happens there?
What happens?
I want all of the information.
I want to get the exact definition of what it is.
Me too.
By the way, they also have something there called the Dick Burger.
All right, get to that definition.
Second.
After.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have two questions here. It's a
Okay,
two-parter.
You want the Slinger or the Dick?
So the Slinger is 2 hamburger patties. This is all on a plate, by the way. So 2 hamburger patties,
Yeah.
2 sunny side up eggs,
Okay.
cheese, hash browns, onions, covered with chili.
Oh my God.
And then it's served with a side of toast, so you can use that as kind of a
Well,
scooper.
thank God. I thought, wow, I was really missing a carb.
Yeah.
Thank goodness. Came in.
A lot of protein there. A lot of protein. It's so good, but you have to plan that you're going home right after. Because you're just going to sit and lay.
Well, I can't go to the club. I'm not going to Tao after I have the Slinger.
I don't know. I can see you getting out there and dancing a little bit.
Yeah.
I can see you doing that. By the way, do you want to know what the Dick Burger is?
Yes, I would like to know what the Dick Burger is.
So it's a burger patty, grilled onions, 2 bacon strips, a fried egg, and hash browns. It's named for Richard Richardson, or Double Dick. He's the general manager. And
Could you imagine your nickname being Double Dick? That's unbelievable. Oh.
All right, Case, do you have a late night place? You were answering phones there for a second, but a place in Chicago that's like that 24-hour late night awesome place.
Do you know the Golden Apple in Lincoln Park? It's right across the street from a Catholic church and a Scientology building.
Yeah.
So it attracts all comers. And it's great.
Well, I go to both those things first, and then I head over there.
You get right with both of your lords, and then you go and get some food from Golden Apple.
It's like the Holy Trinity in your mind. I got it.
Yeah.
But it's great because it's like, well, I either am going to get an omelet or a pork chop dinner. The menu's so big, it's like reading a Harry Potter book, and you never have any idea what you're going to land on because you go in there thinking, oh, I'll get some pancakes or whatever, and then you get like a steak quesadilla because that entices you on the menu as well.
I love a place with and like I'm sure they're not all being done to perfection. And I don't even care. I want every choice ever. It excites me. What do you have back there?
You know what's funny too is that's what I love about Chicago, because especially the Greek diners, they have like 18 pages on the menu, and then you get to baklava at the end, like you're sitting there like chocolate cake and then baklava.
Hell yeah.
But if you watch Bar Rescue like I do, you're addicted to it. He always says having a big menu is the wrong way to go. You should have an elite one-page menu so you sell a lot of the stuff you want and it's good. But I go, that's the only time I disagree with him.
I know.
Give me that menu. I got to like peruse for a while.
That's when you read.
That's my reading.
Do you have a Kindle version of this?
I want to be flipping pages. When I go in and I see like 3 entrees, I'm like, kick rocks. That makes me so mad. What is this, a wedding? This is stupid.
Yeah. I love it when the waitress comes up. You guys, you ready? No. I got to check out your page 9.
Yeah, I haven't flipped yet. This is unbelievable. It's double-sided?
Oh. Another place that's right across the street from where you're talking about, Case, is Sam and George's in Lincoln Park.
That is a tasty restaurant.
S&G restaurant. They have the best skillets. They have this thing called I think it's the Godfather skillet. Oh, it's like a deep dish pizza in an egg skillet. Oh, it's so good.
You know what haunts me to this day, and I wonder if anybody will have the name of it, is I went somewhere and it was kind of fancy. It's 24 hours. It has one name, so it's not like Blank and Blake. It's not like Mr. This or anything like that. It was kind of fancy, but it's 24 hours and in Chicago. I attended twice. I was wasted both times, and I cannot remember the name of it. But you had like a nice dressed up way. It was like a bougie 24-hour spot. Everyone in there is drunk.
Yeah.
But I got this Cajun pasta that was out of this world.
Cajun pasta?
I can't find the place, and it drives me nuts.
I think the restaurant you're thinking of is Popeyes.
No, it's not. And I hate that you gave me hope for 0.4 seconds, you son of a bitch.
However, you did say
no one believes that I was there. I was like, Hotel California. I can't find it.
You did say you were drunk.
I was.
You might end up at a Popeyes. You didn't know it.
And they just told you it was a nice restaurant.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101, and very stoked that Brian and Kenzie got to talk to Mike Shinoda of Lincoln Park. Very rare, very exclusive to Q101 in this show. And as we talked about the whole countdown a few weeks ago, of course, they laid it all out last Thursday, where the band is continuing on with some changes, but obviously with Emily Armstrong joining from Dead Sarah, joining from that band and being in Lincoln Park now in the Chester Bennington role, for lack of a better other way to say that. And they have shows coming up. No Chicago show yet. They have a new album, of course, dropping November 15th. We're going to play the new song, The Emptiness Machine, here in a second. But we talked to Mike Shinoda about a lot of different things, and he was so kind and generous in really wanting to talk. I feel like a band, hasn't been around for 7 years, and basically opened up talking to him. Why now? 7 years since the tragic passing of Chester Bennington. That's not like they waited a year and got it going. And Mike Shinoda answered with this.
I guess it goes back to about, I think I met Emily in 2019. And a friend had just introduced us, and she came by the studio, and we played around, worked on a couple ideas a couple times. And then, she struck me as really talented, and I really liked what we had made. But the songs we made weren't they weren't there yet. They weren't incredible. It was just, oh, she's good. And I started to get into writing and producing with other people. So I was doing all these sessions with different artists and other writers and stuff. And I had met this guy, Colin Britton, in a session. And I went, wow, that guy, I really vibe with him. He's a really good, producer and writer, and he plays every instrument. And those two things just logged in the back of my mind. They were just kind of in a folder, and they weren't on the desktop. They were just tucked away somewhere. And at one point a few years ago, a couple years ago, Joe and I had this conversation, Joe Hahn, our DJ, and I had this conversation about what if we just started kind of hanging out more often. I made the idea of auditioning people, or hey, let's get the band back together, was not the start. That felt really stupid to us, to be honest. That's so clumsy and unattractive in a way of approaching things. It's more for us, it's more about let's just get together and hang And Joe and I started, Dave and Joe and I started. And eventually we started writing some things, just playing around with the little weird ideas and inviting other people in. And eventually Brad came in, but Colin and Emily were the ones that stuck. Like when we recorded, when we recorded, we wrote stuff with a lot of different people just to kind of feel it out. And it evolved. The album From Zero, which comes out on November 15th, the album kind of evolved at the same time as the band lineup evolved. It blurred into existence in a way.
Wow, that's an incredible explanation of, how they got where they are now. That's Mike Shinoda of Linkin Park. And he mentions Colin in there. That's the new drummer because Rob Borden has chosen not to continue on at this point. And it seems like it was pretty friendly. It's just a matter of fact that he was distancing himself from the band the last couple of years when Chester's been gone. And listen, you lose somebody like that, it affects you a lot of different ways. Not everybody wants to keep going. And Brad Delson, the guitar player, by the way, he's on this new song we'll play in a second here, The Emptiness Machine. But he's also not going to tour. He's going to play the music, and on the album, he wants to write and be creative with Linkin Park, but he doesn't want to be on the road anymore. And again, these guys are, getting there. I'm not saying they're old, but they're in their mid-40s at this point, and they went through a lot. They went through a lot. Touring's also really, really hard on your mental and your body. And there's a lot of artists, a lot of them don't admit it because it sounds very negative. People are excited to come see you on tour, so a lot of people won't talk about it. So many artists hate touring. It's their least favorite part of the gig. As much as they love seeing the fans and bringing their music plays, it is hard on you show after show, on the road, away from family, away from loved ones, very hard on your mental, hard on your body. People lose their voices, a lot happens. A lot of people don't like it, but they don't want to bring a negative energy to people spending all this money to come see them, so they don't always acknowledge that, which I totally understand, but it's tough on people. And he still wants to be in Linkin Park, so he's still going to make the music. He just doesn't want to go on tour anymore. So, and speaking of that, the mental toll, Kenzie asked Mike Shinoda in our interview with him about Chester Bennington and the situation of emotionally moving on. Yeah, I mean, I wanted to know what that was like for him. Obviously, they took a long break, and I do think that was a respectful and good thing to do. But now this is his first time in Linkin Park without Chester. That's really his first time hitting the stage without him. Obviously, he's done his solo stuff, but being in Linkin Park, and I was very curious I'm sure there is happiness tied to this resurgence, but what other emotions are going on with that? Just to speak on the Chester thing, because I want to be clear. Everybody, they kind of have to say things like Emily stepping into Chester's shoes and blah, blah, blah. I don't love that phrasing because I get that she is filling a space in the visual lineup of the band. But I also feel like Chester was one of a kind. He's only Chester. And Emily's also one of a kind. She's only Emily. When I hear her sing, she doesn't sound like him to me. She sounds like her. And that's what I like. What I like about her voice is that it's very unique and it sounds, I don't know how else to explain it. When she sings on the songs, they sound like Linkin Park songs. That's just my gut. That's just how I feel. Right. You feel like she belongs, not because she's trying to be Chester, but you feel Emily belongs in Linkin Park. I feel seen, Kenzie. I feel like you get me. That was a great moment talking to him, man. He was really nice, really gracious, really cool. Mike Shinoda of Linkin Park, our conversation with him about everything that's gone on in the last week of them coming back with new music, with a new singer, with a few changes here and there. And I went back a little bit, actually, in part of the interview of course, my nostalgia of the Sludge Nation days back in the day when I remember playing Linkin Park the first time. And, being at Jamboree with 30,000 people only a year after people heard One Step Closer and how crazy it was. And I told Mike, being here on Q101 in the afternoons, 50,000 calls in the first month with how fast they rose about, that's so cool, we got a Chicago band. That's awesome, Linkin Park. I wonder where they're from exactly in Linkin Park, because I lived in Linkin Park at one point. Like people just calling, nope, okay, they're Lincoln Park, but they're not from Chicago, over and over again, thousands of times had to say that. And here was his response to that when I brought up Chicago and Lincoln Park, their name.
Americans like thought we were local everywhere we went, but especially Chicago. Because there's a Lincoln Park everywhere. There's a Lincoln Park in LA. There's a Lincoln Park in Florida. There's like wherever you go, there's a Lincoln Park. But in Chicago, that's the most well-known Lincoln Park. And so people out there have just claimed us like we were their own. And I was like, why are they doing that? Oh, because of the name. And yeah, we had from the very beginning, we had a really big fan base in Chicago. And that big jump happened that year as well, where we were playing, we were playing first of 7, right? We were opening the show with nobody in the seats. People were just walking in with their beers. And that later on the same tour cycle, we headlined every single one of those shows. Yesterday's show actually was it's funny because cameras like are so deceiving. Like yesterday's show looked really big on camera. It was actually only 1,000 people. It's a very small crowd. So to be able to like take the show that we've got, which by the way, this live stream show was 60 minutes ish. Our actual show is over 2 hours. So, I'm very excited to be getting on the road with these songs. Unfortunately, we can't play a bunch of the new ones yet because the record's not out, but I'm dying to play the new songs.
Oh, our conversation with Mike Shinoda of Lincoln Park. And Case, is that entire interview up on our YouTube channel right now?
That entire interview is up on the Q101 Chicago YouTube channel right now.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.